I completely blew up a student's channel within only 3 days, as we can see right in front of us right here. So on the 15th, first video we posted, then 16th, second video, then third video on the 17th, and then the channel absolutely started blowing up, and we monetized it quite quickly as well. So then, once we monetized it, immediately had $100 day, which is super awesome. And in this video, I'll break down the whole strategy behind this and how you can do the exact same thing. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Stefan, 23 years old. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with Faceless YouTube channels, currently still making around about $30,000 to $40,000 a month, constantly building new channels. There at the back, you can also see some of my play buttons. And I've literally made $42,000 with just 2 videos. Scale the channel from $0 to $48,000 in just 30 days. And I've helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing. For example, your Martins, who have helped to make $31,000 one single month. Stamp get monetized in 2 weeks. Then here, for example, Antonin got monetized 20 days. And just here, another student, $24,000 a month, and many, many more. Now, if you're interested in getting the exact same results, check out the first link in the video description. Book a call with me and we'll have a look if it's a fit to work together or not. Now, that being said, I would say let's get right into the video. Now, the first thing we have to understand is when we're picking a niche, or in general on YouTube, everything is supply and demand, right? So this is probably the most important part when it comes to YouTube automation, is basically seeing YouTube as a marketplace. All right, because that's what YouTube is. It's a marketplace of videos. Now, and just like any other market, YouTube has supply and it also has demand. Now, what does that actually mean? Now, it means the following. So what your demand is basically what your audience actually wants to watch, and supply is how much content is there already. So we have to figure out where can we find a gap between these two things. Now, the good thing is what normal YouTubers do is not what we do, right? Normal YouTubers take years to build their personal brands, spend years building a connection with their audience, and it takes a lot of time and hard work to build demand around them. Now, what we do as faceless kind of YouTubers, or luckily with YouTube automation, we skip this whole process. Instead, what we do is we look for a topic or niche that has high demand, or that has a lot of demand but no supply. And this is exactly where you see us blowing up channels this quickly. All right. Now, if we're looking for high demand, low supply niches, we look for this specific criteria right here. And this is probably the most important checklist or most important criteria of this video. So make sure to not miss this. Now, number one, there are under 5 smaller channels creating content in this niche that are constantly getting more views than they have subscribers. This means there's high demand and low supply. As I've already said, once you understand this, YouTube is going to become extremely easy for you. Okay, then there are no channels with over 100,000 subscribers. There are no small channels failing. Now, the reason for this is, in most cases, if there are a lot of channels with over 100,000 subscribers, firstly, we will not be able to compete against them. And secondly, there will be so many small channels failing and there will be so much supply for the demand. So there won't be a gap anymore. So we won't blow up a channel as quickly anymore. All right. Then we want to know if the niche is want to make sure that the niche is not older than 6 months. I can create better content than my competitors. Now, this can also just be longer content. All right. Then am I actually interested in this niche? This is not a must as long as you build a team that actually has interest in that niche. Is the niche monetizable? Otherwise, you can't make any money. And then huge bonus if you can post long videos. Now, very important, this does not need to be 1000% with all niches you find. Otherwise, you will be looking for niches for months and months and months and you won't find anything. All right. Very important not to be too perfectionistic with this. Now, once we pick a niche, it's all about speed. There are always going to be 2 different outcomes for the person that takes weeks to go into a niche and the person who takes a day to post the first video. 2 completely different things. All right. Now, we need speed. And for that, we want to always have some channels created. All right. I'll walk you through this right now. Okay. Now, let me just delete this. Boom. This is something that should not take you longer than 10 to 15 minutes. You can do the whole channel creation and everything with AI. It's really not that difficult. Like, you can go to ChatGPT, ask it to create your logo for that specific channel, and it's going to create you a logo. In most cases, these logos are actually pretty decent, so try it out yourself, all right? Now, we want to actually go ahead and warm up our YouTube channel. Now, we warm up our accounts to increase our trust score. Now, the trust score is how much does the platform actually trust our channel. If the platform does not trust our channel, YouTube is not going to push out our videos as fast as you've just seen. But if YouTube actually trusts our account, it's going to push it out quicker. Now, how can we increase this? Very easy. What accounts need to be warmed up? So new accounts and aged accounts. All right. Now, how do you actually warm up your account? We use the account as a normal user, watch 1 to 2 hours of content per day. We subscribe, like, and comment to different kind of YouTube channels. Very important that we just act as a human. We don't act as a bot. All right. Then we do this for around about like 1 week to lower the risk of a low trust score. Now, this does not work 100% of the times, all right? But this can actually, increase your trust score so your videos get pushed out way quicker. Now, a quick note, always have 1 to 2 warmed up channels ready to go in case, again, because we need speed, all right? So we need speed, and that's why we always want to have accounts warmed up so we can jump into the niches very, very quickly, okay? Then, what we need is very, very good video topics. So we don't just want to post videos about any random topics we can think about, because we have to keep in mind that there is supply and demand in video topics, all right? So supply and demand is not just important in your niche, but also in the video topics you choose. Now, how do you find demand in video topics? You look for recent outlier videos on competitor channels, and you look for recent trending formats, all right? Thumbnail styles, title structures, all of these things. You want to look for that, all right? Do not copy the most popular videos from competitors, because this is literally what everyone does, and that's why, their videos fail. And if you do it too, your videos will also fail 1,000,000%, all right? Now, how do you actually find supply? You use your YouTube search bar and look for how many people have created the exact same video. If it's been done more than 3 times, you don't have a different angle to that specific video or for that specific topic, you have to go ahead and you have to look for a different kind of video topic. All right. Why? Again, because then there will be too much supply for the demand. Very simple. And you have to keep in mind, YouTube will always show the videos to the hardcore fans of that niche first. And if they have already seen the video multiple times, they don't have any reason for clicking on your video, except if it follows a different angle and maybe gives them some new information. Now, how does a perfect topic look like? Okay, a perfect topic is basically a topic that resonates with your audience. So do they even want to watch this video? You have to ask yourself, and you have to be very, very honest with yourself when you're asking yourself that question. Some topics sound very interesting, but are super boring, right? So make sure that your topic is not boring. Then your topic has to be posted on time if it's a trend. You have to repeat what has done well in the past. We have, for example, a student, where we just kind of doubled down on what has already worked. And this is the most insane thing you can do, because you already know what works. So you can just double down on the exact same that works instead of guessing on new topics. All right. We literally took him from making almost, $500 a month or something to $30,000 a month in 4 months just by doubling down on what is already working. Now, what we also want to do is we want to leverage negativity. Why? Because humans respond way better to negative things. All right. Now, very important that, here, for example, with the video topics, with the round about 15 videos we post, we have something different on every single video we post. Why? Because that's going to shorten the whole testing phase or the testing new content on your channel. All right. Because if you do the exact same topic or the exact same content style 15 times and it doesn't work, and you only start testing then the first 15 videos are basically completely useless. All right. So that's why we want to test as much as possible from the beginning. We always want to have accounts ready. We want to have insane speed once we find a niche. This is kind of the thing that's gonna differentiate you from, you know, failing or even winning from YouTube. If you're very slow, YouTube might not be the best thing for you. Then we want to look at the niche criteria. Want to always keep in mind that there is supply and demand. And then guys, if you are interested in working close with me, check out the first link in the video description and let's, you know, blow up your channel to the exact same numbers we see here on the screen. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.